Hey, he said Ugandan, not Wakandan. All right, that's come on, man.
Wakanda.
No, I
Hey, I fucking already. Hey, I already told Brian. You better not embarrass me. All right, I don't appreciate that shit.
Look,
Malik's the first person we've had on our podcast.
my biggest criticisms have nothing to do with this.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us today on Best Words Podcast. Right now it's your normal three, me, Brian, and Sam. We also got two guests with us. We got Chez and we got Malik.
Yo, what's good?
How's everyone doing today?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, it's good, man.
I'm good, man. I'm tired, but the energy's still here.
Gotcha.
How about you, man?
Doing good, man. I've been looking forward to this. Not only just talking about the movie in general, but just having you and Chez on it to possibly get some I don't know, just an expanded dialogue.
Why'd you put me on with this bitch? I mean, why'd you? Sorry.
No, you're good, dude.
Are we allowed to curse on here?
Yeah, dude. Do whatever you want.
Yes.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Who, Chez?
He's good, Jonathan. For real? It's like that.
Yeah.
All right then.
You came into the audio test talking shit. You think I'm gonna tell Malik? Nah, don't say nothing about Chez.
I mean, am I wrong? Exactly. I like that silence.
Alrighty.
Don't
So
know what Chez.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll get into it at some point. We're definitely gonna talk about it. I'm definitely not. Yeah, we're talking about.
I don't even care. You know what? Whatever. All right. So today we're gonna be talking about Black Panther. I guess we'll do it a little different, just because we're kind of trying to keep it at about an hour. We'll just go down the line. We'll start with our guests. Kind of just your overall thoughts on the movie. You know, do you think it was good, bad, kind of, and kind of where you see it as far as Marvel movies in general, like where it lines up, like it's better than these or not as good as these, or does it even kind of fall on that scale? Is it in its own thing? Go ahead, Malik, you can go first.
Sure. I thought it was amazing. One of my favorite Marvel movies is in my top two. I'm still kind of flip-flopping between it and Winter Soldier as which one is exactly my favorite. Therefore, I'm going to go see it again tonight.
Oh, nice.
So I can, further develop my opinion. But I think, yeah, it's one of the best Marvel movies. I noticed that anything Nate Moore has had a role in. Nate Moore is one of the producers at Marvel who kind of spearheaded this whole Black Panther integration into the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
He's been really good about all the little things he's done and all the people he's put in place to make this thing possible, and definitely show Black Panther was an amazing film. It's visually stunning. Characters were well developed. Wakanda being the best developed character in the movie. I thought they did a really good job just making the setting believable and just making it cool. And yeah, I thought it was a great movie. Like it's kind of hard to say anything bad about it. I guess if there was one drawback, it'd probably be like just the fact that you had to suspend your belief. But again, it's a superhero movie, so like of course you have to do that. And maybe it would have been cool to see Killmonger's story fleshed out a little bit more.
Gotcha.
But there's like a 4-hour director's cut coming, so
That'll be nice.
We'll watch it there.
For
But
sure.
yeah, those are my overall thoughts on the movie. I thought it was great.
Gotcha. Okay, go ahead, Chez.
Yeah. So me personally, I'm kind of sitting in the same position. I'd probably put it in my. I haven't seen all the Marvel Cinematic movies, but I would have to say I'd definitely put it in my top two. It's between that and Guardians 1.
Gotcha.
Guardians 1 I was really impressed with, but yeah, I thought Black Panther was amazing. Touched on a lot of things that I kind of had a feeling it would go into, but I'll talk about more of that later. But yeah, it was really good. I was excited to hear that Ryan Coogler was directing it. Big fan of Fruitvale Station. Creed was really good. One of my top 5 favorite movies of all time probably is Creed.
Gotcha. Man, that's interesting coming from you, man. It's a sports
Really good.
sports movie, but yeah, no, Creed was really good. I really liked what they did with that.
But yeah, That is really good. I kind of feel the same way too. I think everyone kind of feels the same way about Killmonger. Because Killmonger is such like he's such an iconic character within the like Black Panther universe, but like his story gets really fleshed out later on in the Marvel universe. And I don't know, man. Michael B. Jordan, I feel like did a really, really, really phenomenal job in that role. I honestly think he killed it. It was really, really good.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And we'll dive into that. We'll go with Sam next.
I really there's really not it's really nitpicking. I'll agree with everybody else. Like you have to nitpick at this point for this movie because there's a lot. Like I'm a big character person and I love all of these characters, even the secondary characters.
Yeah, no,
So
I agree with that.
It's really hard. You just have to nitpick, but I would say it's in maybe my top 5. I feel like I need to watch all these movies again because there's so much.
For sure.
It's just
But-
so many. It's hard to keep it. To such
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
short list.
Exactly. And it's like I'll get into this a little bit more later, but you can see the evolution and how like things are changing within this cinematic universe and how storytelling is changing and how it's impacting everybody.
For sure.
This is a really good film.
No, yeah, definitely. All right, go ahead, Brian.
So, I mean, I think we're all pretty much on the same page. I really can't say a whole lot negative about the film. I really liked it a lot. I don't know that I'd put it in top 3. I'd definitely put it in my top 5, though.
Gotcha.
So the fact that, Michael B. Jordan was awesome as Killmonger, and his character was fleshed out as well as he could have been. Not that he was bad by any means, but I really wanted to see more of him just because he was so good.
Gotcha.
I didn't like what they did with Claw in this one because I felt like they turned him into an entirely different character, but it's really just nitpicking. I still think that overall it was great. The visuals were awesome. The representation of Wakanda in the Marvel universe is great. It's one of the best nations in the entire comic universe.
Gotcha. All right. No, definitely. Yeah, not to sit too long on that, but yeah, I agree with kind of everything you are saying. The actors that they chose were really fitting for their roles. I really like, and we'll kind of start expanding on some of the things y'all said. I really like what you said, Malik, about Wakanda being developed as almost essentially its own character. I feel like a lot of times, not in just Marvel movies, but even in cinema in general, like the backdrop is just that, right? Like it's like something cool to look at. They don't really explain a lot about what's going on. Like you can't really tell, like get a feel for the place that they're in because it's really quick, or it's just like for a cool moment. But Wakanda, it did a lot of it helped. You were able to understand a lot of what it was all about without having to jump too far into it. One of the things that I was gonna say, and we talked about this in one of the chats, I think it did a really good job of mixing like their traditional culture with futuristic stuff, and it was represented really well. One side wasn't overbearing. It wasn't all futuristic, and it didn't make it look out of place or anything like that. Nothing in the sets, at least in my opinion, felt just out of place, I guess.
Yeah, it had a really good sci-fi vibe to it while not feeling wrong.
Yeah, I think they could have very easily gone overboard with the tech stuff. And I think it would have made it feel. It wouldn't have felt right, I guess, for lack of a better description. So I guess we'll go into the biggest, probably. I wouldn't say surprise, but just why do you think that Killmonger resonated so well with audiences? Like, I think overall, that's probably one of people's favorite characters in the movie. He's definitely one of mine. Anybody have any thoughts as to kind of what they did differently with him than like your traditional Marvel villains? I know people are going to make that argument for well, he's just a evil Black Panther, but he really wasn't, at least not in my opinion. Any thoughts on that, guys?
I think one of the big things is the fact that they fleshed out his ideals, and he wasn't just a carbon copy of Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they definitely pointed out the fact that he was disenfranchised, and as a child too.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there are multiple like layers to his anger and his his bitterness toward T'Challa and toward Wakanda. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the fact that they murdered his father,
Mm-hmm.
or the fact that Wakanda kind of just left the rest of their own people out to dry, and kind of just held on and hid behind the scenes while everyone else kind of had to experience like oppression and all types of different things. And I mean, I can see his disdain toward that, being that he grew up in Oakland, as opposed to someone who grew up in Wakanda. So yeah, no, I feel like it resonated with a lot of people who felt that way. There's a lot of people who feel disenfranchised here in especially here in America, on U.S. soil, and that doesn't matter. That it doesn't matter what race you are. I mean, we can talk about the political climate and what it is now, but a lot of the issues have been at the catalyst because people feel disenfranchised. Like and Killmonger was pretty much the embodiment of that in this movie. And I mean, that's partly why it resonated pretty well with me too, because I could feel his pain. I could feel the plight, and why he was up in arms about it. Probably not the best approach, but definitely his intentions were in the right place.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, even if he didn't seem like he was coming at it from the right angle, he definitely had a reason for it, and I think that's what helped make him a more relatable character. Unlike, I don't know, like Whiplash or something. Just he wasn't a no-name generic villain that was just being thrown under the bus.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Whiplash.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I think you said it really well, Malik. He embodies a lot of, I think, different frustrations that minorities can have, and they took it to its most extreme to kind of show like he's a villain, but even his point of view resonated with T'Challa, right? Like, it wasn't just like T'Challa just like dismissed it and was like, "Oh, you're being crazy." Like, he actually sat there and was like, he has good points. Like, I don't agree with his ways of going about it, but I can see why he's upset with my father and the people that came before him for their they didn't take any action knowing what was going on in the world. So it forced him to kind of look at himself and say, do I want to continue this tradition of what's been going on, or do I want to kind of move away from that? So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like to kind of add to that too, in terms of just people that made T'Challa himself kind of question, like, when he was officially crowned king, when he went to God dang it, I forgot what that spirit world was called. What do they call it? I forgot the actual name. I know it's called something specific, but
yeah, I don't
anyways,
remember what it was.
When he goes there, the first thing he asks you is, how do I be a great king? And his dad said, well, you first have to have people you trust near you. And I think Nakia kind of helped with that too, because she kind of had a similar mindset as Killmonger did, where she was like, well, you guys have all this technology, you have all these resources, and you close yourself off, and there's people out there that are suffering, and you probably don't even know about it. And
Right.
I feel like from the get-go, he was kind of already hit with the, well, you know what, you're right, but I mean, we've never dealt with any outsider confrontation like that. We've never even thought about it, and I think that helped a lot in introducing Killmonger, because he was on the extreme end. I feel like T'Challa was kind of starting off from this one end, and then you had Nakia in the middle, and then Killmonger was on the opposite end. But you kind of had T'Challa kind of bouncing between,
kind of
both sides.
Got you, where he wants to kind of fall.
Right. So I thought it was super cool.
Yeah, I think it made the ending really interesting, because it was like, what I'm doing is wrong, but what you're doing is wrong, so let's find a way for this to work for both of us.
Exactly.
I really wanted that to happen, and not to just end it with another dead villain.
Gotcha.
Yeah, his ideas even though the person died, his ideals carried on, which is something the other villains haven't really had an impact on their opposing character. So
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the writing. A lot of the other villains, I think, were boiled down to like, I want more power, or I want a specific person killed, and they could have very easily done that with Killmonger, right? He could have very easily just been like, I just want to kill T'Chaka, and then just be done with it. Like, that was his entire plan, but it was this multi-layered, like, not only do I want to take revenge, but I want to try to help, the people that are being disenfranchised. I want to change kind of the status quo, what's going on. So it wasn't this one-dimensional kind of ambition, right? There's a lot of parts to it.
Yeah, I think it's really disappointing when you look at it overall, just how few of Marvel's villains are that memorable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That I could even come close to equating to Killmonger would be Loki. And Loki's a trickster god, so,
Yeah.
you could just do whatever you want with him whenever you want.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm sure we can talk about Michael B. Jordan's character all day, just because he's one of the favorites. But I want to hit on some of the other characters too. I think all the female leads, Lupita, Letitia, and
Okoye,
Denai, is that how you pronounce it?
or Denai's character Okoye. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
she's
all three of them, I think, were great in my opinion.
Can we have like a side movie with just all of them?
just kind of
They were
there.
great. They were fucking amazing.
Oh yeah,
They were.
and I feel like they did a really good job of representing different. They weren't all the same kind of person, right? Like,
Right.
Okoye had no problem calling out T'Challa on his, like, what she thought was right or wrong, like, at all. And she was very loyal to the crown, and you get to kind of, briefly explore her struggle with that. Shuri, his sister, I think was done really well. One of the things me and my brother immediately said after the movie was the writing and acting of their interactions as brother and sister, like, did it for me, because it felt genuine to me. And it's a small thing, right? It's not, that doesn't necessarily have a bigger impact on the movie, but just those little details of like, oh, they're a family kind of thing was done really well. And I don't know if that's more to the writers or the actresses, but overall it was done really well. And she was a standout character. I see a lot of people posting that any one of these three women was their favorite female lead.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Nakia, Okoye, and Shuri. I thought they were all good characters. I actually thought that Black Panther did a better job with representation of just like female characters than Wonder Woman did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wonder Woman got a lot of love,
Gotcha.
but like there was just no, like, Black Panther really just, there was just no like trope or real like attachment that you typically see in Hollywood films with any of these characters, and I really appreciated that. The one place, Wonder Woman kind of dropped the ball for me, and I love that movie. I actually thought it was great, but I there were a couple things I didn't like about it, and one of them was the fact that they gave Wonder Woman a love interest, and I just didn't really think it was necessary. I thought that they could have gone through that entire movie without her doing that. She still could have been just as powerful and badass without all the extra stuff. And in this one, it wasn't as much of the fact that she had a love interest, but it's just like so much of her actions and her intentions relied on that. Like her overcoming Steppenwolf was ultimately because she saw, Steve kill himself or, becoming martyr and risk his life. And, she was crying and stuff. And in Black Panther, there are love, like for instance, Okoye, her husband's on the other side, he's a part of the council.
Yes.
But like her loyalties with the throne, she never like her mission was always her mission. Her intention was always her intention. And at the end of the movie, he bowed to her. And she was like, I don't care. And I thought that was really cool because it's something you don't often see in films when it comes to women and how they're represented.
Yeah. And even Nakia, right? Like T'Challa got to be the Black Panther, the king. And even then she was like, that doesn't mean I'm just going to stop what I'm doing. Right. Just to, just to be your queen or whatever. Like I have my own things that I want to get accomplished. And, regardless of your status, right? Like I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And yeah, like there wasn't like you said, there wasn't this traditional trope that everybody was just like, all right, you're just going to be all these things. You're going to be motivated by love or whatever. And yeah, so I definitely
like
think on that.
Write strong female characters without creating stereotypes.
or in general, right?
Right.
I'm trying to think.
Can
So
we
go
real
ahead.
quick? So T'Challa's sister, I can't remember her name.
Shuri?
but-
Shuri.
Shuri.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know how we're gonna get into this, but so I know in the recent comics that the newest Iron Man is a black female.
Uh-huh.
I want to see her be Iron Man.
Oh, Shuri. It would be interesting. They've a lot of people have talked about her character and how she's at minimum on par with Tony Stark's intelligence, if not greater. And yeah,
I kind of think they proved, and you guys saw the after credit scene, right?
Oh, yeah.
After
Yeah.
the second one, right?
Yeah.
I kind of think that kind of proves that she might be a step above on certain aspects.
oh yeah, for sure.
As far as her brilliance, because I remember before in Civil War at that end credit scene when Bucky was talking about going into stasis or whatever, cryogenic freezing.
Yeah.
And he was basically telling him, like, yeah, till this brainwashing is over, I'm out of here. Something that Tony or no one can figure out. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna freeze myself. And who's the mind that happens to solve that?
Yeah,
and I thought that was
exactly.
pretty cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they definitely showed exactly what she could do throughout the entire movie. Let's see. I want to talk about. So one of the criticisms of the film that I saw, just in terms of like not necessarily character, but just parts, some people felt that Martin Freeman, Agent Ross, his ending part was kind of tacked on. The whole, go destroy the ships before the weapons get out to all of our, bases, essentially.
They were just giving him something to do.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I don't really think that Martin Freeman needed to be in the film.
Gotcha.
honestly.
Yeah. I did question, like, I mean, I guess I could see his purpose from a sense that he was kind of like I don't want to say Agent Coulson, but he was kind of just like, I guess, the person who was connecting Wakanda with the outside world.
Gotcha.
Because, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously him and T'Challa, had a relationship, and he knew T'Challa was Black Panther and yada yada. So I can see that aspect of it. But yeah, I kind of agree with you guys in the sense that it just seemed like his character didn't really have like a true purpose outside of those things I just mentioned. He just was kind of there, and the ship was, it did feel kind of tacked on now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's not to say that he was a bad character. It just didn't seem like it was necessary with everything else that was already in the film.
For sure.
Yeah. Right, I agree.
I honestly thought he was gonna die sitting in that pilot suit because he wasn't very, like y'all said, he wasn't very essential to the plot or anything. So he could have literally just died, and that would have been that.
Gotcha.
Talking about characters dying, I'm still upset about the way they handled Claw in this movie.
I was that kind of was that was surprising to me for sure, because Claw is actually like one of the Black Panther's main villains, and for them to just kind of just off him like that.
Yeah,
was
it's pretty
strange.
unceremoniously. Yeah.
Well, not
Yeah.
just that, but like when they introduced him in Ultron, I felt like his demeanor was completely different in this film. Like they just entirely rewrote his character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to
So,
go.
like, what is going
I'd want to go rewatch Ultron for that, just to kind of compare. But I do think that if you remember it, I'll take that. I'll take your word for it there.
I mean, to be fair, he only had like maybe 2 scenes in the film, so
Yeah,
there's
that's where they cut his arm off in that movie, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah,
So that's where they were hinting what was going to happen to him.
Yeah.
I think the other character that people kind of gravitated to was Winston Duke's M'Baku.
Oh my
M'Baku,
God.
yes.
Dude, yeah, dude, his character, like, I think it's really interesting how they were able to take your initial impression of him, right, during the challenge against T'Challa, and they kind of put this image in your head of like, this is who he is, and then when you meet him outside of that, the challenge and the fight for the throne, he's really likable, right? Like he doesn't,
Right.
he doesn't come off
one of
as.
my favorite characters.
I think a lot of people love just him and what he was able to bring to that character. Like I said, kind could enjoy as far as his interactions with all the characters, especially T'Challa and his family.
Marvel's
Yeah,
pretty
no,
good
he-
job
I-
with their side characters. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just gonna say he definitely was a scene stealer.
For sure.
There at the end.
What about the one character I don't see a lot of people talking about is Forrest Whitaker doesn't get a lot of attention in the movie, and that I don't think he's necessarily designed to. But Angela Bassett as the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, do you guys think that it was just? Do you think it was she wasn't bad, but everyone else was just, that much more interesting? Or
I think it was really she just didn't get a lot of screen time in comparison to everyone else.
okay,
Yeah, I think, and I just think also her character maybe wasn't as essential because I mean, in a sense, Black Panther is kind of like the passing of the torch. It's the new generation, right? So
Gotcha.
it kind of focused on the characters who are essential to this like generation of Wakanda's reign.
Mm-hmm.
And given that she's like no longer a queen because T'Chaka's gone, and it's kind of like I felt like it was fine that they didn't spend much time. I've actually heard people with more harsh criticisms about it, like some African folks say like she's not dark enough to be Wakandan and other stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a little too far.
Gotcha.
Put some respect on Angela Bassett's name.
Oh yeah, dude, she's a great actress.
She's great. Yeah, and I wasn't too off put on how they or put off rather on what they did with her character.
Gotcha.
I would have been fine with seeing more, but I'm not complaining that they didn't show her
Fair enough.
anymore.
Right.
What about just in general, any like favorite parts, or whether it was an action scene or an interaction between two characters? Go ahead, Malik, first.
See, this is tough. I think the thing I enjoyed most was just like the nuance throughout the movie, just the little small things from the costumes are great.
Oh yeah.
And seeing them like pay tribute to African flags through like just different coloring, like the scene where they're going into the when they're in I believe it's what was it, Korea they're in?
Yeah, they're in Korea.
And they went to the nightclub and they start fighting everybody, but Okoye's wearing like the red dress, Nakia's wearing the green dress, and then just T'Challa's in the black. That's the red, black, and green.
That super slick freaking black and green. Yeah, dude, that was so sick.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like they're paying homage to like I forgot exactly which African flag it was.
Gotcha.
But I just remember thinking to myself, like, oh yeah, I've seen like those colors together before. And they're walking down the stairs, and he has them like locked arms, and I'm just like, I get where this is going. So it was just little nuanced things like that. I really enjoyed it. Ryan Coogler, he does it in all his movies, and he just had like kind of free reign to do it on a different level here in a Marvel movie, because it's like the movie's made to be family friendly, but if you're an adult and you kind of understand like the climate of like the world, there are going to be things in that movie that you picked up on. I think that was what I enjoyed most about it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Real
quick,
yeah, go ahead.
piggyback off of that, it was extremely colorful, and there needs to be more movies like that. Like it's
Nah, man.
It's just
Orange and blue.
Marvel can
Orange and blue.
putting
That's it.
color.
Mango Sentinel.
That's right. Chez, favorite parts or part?
So I had a conversation with Malik and I's friend Javen about this, but the scene where Killmonger's in the museum,
Uh-huh.
that's
yeah.
probably my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Gotcha.
Like the part where he's basically talking to the what do you call them?
The curator or whatever.
The curator of the museum. Like he's just like, hey, I want to buy this, and she was like, sorry, it's not for sale. And he was like, did y'all buy this from my people? I was telling Javen, I was like, dude, I've been waiting my whole life to like walk into some fancy museum and be like, just say something like that. And just
Gotcha.
walk out.
No, yeah, it was a great scene. It set up his character, I think, really well, and it was a great intro for him. Just to kind of get his kind of an intro into his motives potentially, I think.
Yeah, and just to like show that he's like he's not some intellect who's just doing things because he has the potential to be. Like there's definitely cause and effect to everything he's doing.
Gotcha.
I think it was really, really good.
I think they might have went a little bit overboard trying to make him like a badass when he jumped into back at I think it was like an ambulance, and then he like starts making out with this girl like super positive.
I forgot about that.
His love that he offed in like 2 seconds, just like, well, you're in the way, blat, done.
He was like, it's gonna be okay. Blow. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I was like, well, she was an object.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead, Sam, if you had any favorite parts.
I can't. There's so many good interactions between everybody.
Uh-huh.
I really think it just boils down to really T'Challa and Shuri.
Mm-hmm.
Like anytime they would just get together, it was just fun to watch them interact off of each other.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can feel that chemistry like from eons away. It was so organic the way those two vibed.
Did anybody else here see this in at Alamo at all?
No, I went to an early morning showing just because I wanted to knock it out on day one.
Yeah, I went to South Park.
Up here, so.
Oh, okay. So at Alamo, they actually had this. You know, they do the whole like stay quiet or we'll kick you out type of promotion things.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had the I cannot remember his name. The guy who played T'Challa, like just staring out.
Chet, yeah.
Yeah. They had him staring out at the audience, and the camera slowly zooming in on him, like very slowly. And then the actress who plays Shuri, she comes up and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And all he says is, "They know what they're doing. I'm watching them."
That's cool.
Yeah, it was just like a little interaction before the movie, and you felt like it carried into the movie, and it was just, I don't know, it was really good.
For sure.
Do you guys have draft houses in LA, Malik?
No. That's I think that's a Texas thing, isn't it?
It's branching out, actually.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I imagine we'll have one at some point.
For sure. All right, Brian, any favorite parts?
I mean, you know me, and you know that I love car chases, and I really love the car chase in this scene or in this movie, because just the way that they did that was just so badass, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're just flipping all over the place, and Shuri using her ridiculous sci-fi tech to take over the Lexus.
Oh yeah, they definitely pushed that whole like we're leagues ahead of anything you've seen before in terms of technology. Like, right, you look at any Civil War Tony Stark movie, right? And they were just like, nah, we're gonna outdo that.
Yeah. So I mean, just anytime I can get a good car chase involving superheroes, I'm entirely down.
Gotcha.
So I'm guessing you like that Lexus commercial with Black Panther, huh?
With all of them.
I haven't actually seen it because I don't have TV.
Watch it on YouTube, too.
There you go. I'll send you the link after the podcast. I'd say for me personally, man, if I had to pick,
You know what I am excited about? Then this doesn't have anything to do with really Black Panther as a film. I'm really excited to see how Black Panther and Thor are going to get along.
mm-hmm. Oh, the whole royalty thing. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm hoping if we ever do get any sort of inclusion of Doom, we probably won't. But if we ever do, I would love to see their interaction.
I mean, they hate each other.
I know, exactly.
Film, that would be so badass.
Can we give Marvel props for helping out Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan, like getting them to like actually be amazing actors and characters in movies?
Fantastic.
Because oh my god.
Yeah.
They could have just said, "Nah, you guys are Johnny Storm, so we're done."
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And yeah, I think a lot of that comes down to the people in charge, the director, the writers. Yeah, so we're gonna switch gears a little bit. We're about
Wait, what about you? You didn't say your favorite part.
Oh, my bad. I would say what really stuck with me was T'Challa's struggle. I really like how they did that. Both times that he talked to his father and his realizations about, what brought about Killmonger to, essentially turn him into the villain of the film. I really liked his kind of, I love my family and I love, this this country, but have we been doing it wrong? Just because it's a tradition doesn't mean we have to keep doing this. Do we owe it to everybody? Do we owe it to everybody to stop being so secretive? And his rejection of the old, like, Wakanda needs to stay Wakanda kind of thing. I thought that was really good. Anytime they went to that second plane, even when Killmonger went there and he met his dad, I thought those were really good moments of father-son interaction. So I really liked those parts, personally.
Agreed. I thought that was pretty woke.
Oh yeah,
as they say, because I feel like the whole idea of just like breaking tradition and trying new things and kind of like getting current or being current, that's something that we struggle with every day.
Was the what are those? Was that a little bit behind the times? Was that still current enough?
I didn't mind it. Because I didn't expect it. So
got you for sure.
I was cool with it.
Like I said, another good brother-sister interaction. Yeah, so we'll finish it off. We'll finish this kind of section off. I want to change gears here in a second. I know a lot of y'all said kind of top 5 at worst, top 2 at best. Just overall as a movie, like a score, 1 out of 5. Go ahead first, Malik.
I'll give it 5 being the best.
5 being the best.
Yeah, I'd give it 5.
Gotcha.
I'd definitely give it 5. I mean, the score was great. I like that they did the compilation soundtrack.
Yes.
The Mar 2 on the side. I thought that was that got me even more hyped for the movie. And if you really listen to the lyrics of the songs and stuff, it kind of plays into a lot of the themes of the movie. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie itself, of course, I mean, we can talk about how great it was. It's hard for me to say many bad things about it, and when that's the case, I feel like you can't get anything else but a top score. For sure.
Chez?
Yeah, I'd definitely give it a 5. I kind of feel like it was one of those movies, it's in the same vein I put it's like Guardians for me. I felt like when Guardians came out, it was one of those movies that was either going to be really, really bad because no one really knew who the hell freaking Drax was or who Groot was as a character. So how can you latch onto that? But I felt like it was directed so well that you kind of organically could just grow with the characters and kind of bond with them individually. Mm-hmm. I feel like the scenes were great. I felt like it never was too fast or too slow. I felt like it was always in this really, really well kept pace.
Gotcha.
Never really found myself slipping out of oh shit, something crazy's happening now. I thought it was great.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Sam?
I needed more time to think about this. I should have done that.
That's cool. I can pass to Brian if you want a couple seconds more.
Well, so I base a lot of my rates on how enthralled or how much I enjoyed it versus other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say, can I do point system? Because 4.5, I feel like 4 is too low and 5 is just a bit too high for me.
If you want to go 4.5, that's fine.
Yeah,
no rules against
that. I wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted more Killmonger. I wanted more interactions between everybody. I wanted all the side characters. I want a series at this point.
Gotcha.
And they had to add so much into it, and definitely have to cut stuff out
for sure. So it's not a 4.5 because they you didn't feel like they didn't do something right. It's more of you could have happily taken an extra 30, 45 minutes in the film to explore more of what they had to offer.
Oh yeah, I know, absolutely. I could. I'm waiting for that 4-hour director's cut.
That'd be nice.
Same.
I'll say something controversial right now. Black Panther is a better Batman than Batman is.
Hey, that's fine. No problem with that at all, man.
Oh my god.
I think many people would agree with you. There are a lot of people, but they probably won't be the biggest comic book fans. So
Gotcha.
Okay.
John, you know where I stand with Batman, so
For sure. So where do you kind of put it out of 5, Q? Brian?
sorry, my connection was doing weird stuff.
Oh, you good?
I think as far as rating, I'd probably be in the same boat as a 4.5 because I like it had some issues that I've had with other Marvel films. Like it follows some of the same formula, but I think most of that is just because it didn't flesh out the parts that I wanted it to.
Gotcha.
And I think if I could just get a longer version of the film that fixes those problems, I'd be more than happy with a perfect score.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to condense a lot of that stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
especially trying to introduce it to you, because I mean it's a film at the end of the day,
For
and
sure.
like it's hard to introduce characters who have so much history in like a 2-hour film. So
Right.
Gotcha.
And I think that a director's cut would actually be good, unlike Batman.
Batman v Superman or Justice League or Suicide Squad. I'd honestly have to give it a 5 out of 5. I would say top 3, being the original Avengers movie, not in no particular order. I'd have to rewatch them all again, but the original Avengers, Black Panther, and then I think Winter Soldier edges out Civil War, but it's one of those two in the top 3 with those other 2 films.
Civil War sucked. Sorry.
Shut the hell up, bro. I think the actresses they chose were great. The representation was great. The score was awesome. Like the tracks really fit with what was going on. And it wasn't just a superhero movie. I think they tackled a lot of social issues, and we'll get into that in a second. That I think there were a lot of intangibles outside of it just being a movie that I think it did a lot for as far as like Hollywood and society in general. I think it resonated with a lot of people beyond just, oh, this is a good film. I think it tried to make a statement, and I definitely think it succeeded. And so that's why it gets a lot of points from me, just outside of being just a film kind of thing.
I'd say that's probably true based on the box office for it.
Oh, dude, yeah. The thing is destroying records right now.
Fucking destroying everything.
But yeah, so we'll switch gears slightly. It's something I kind of wanted to touch on. It kind of goes back to something you said, Malik. One of the things that I really enjoyed about it, the film in general, it had its culture and origins on full display. They weren't hiding it. It wasn't a backdrop. Like one of the things that I really enjoyed was at the end of the movie when they were all fighting in that field, right? And what's his name? Njobu, Sterling K. Brown's character, I think, the Okoye's husband, when his clan was fighting. And,
yeah.
When they pulled up that traditional kind of like cloak, and then the shields popped out of it, I really liked that small stuff. They could have easily gone overboard and given them, like an Iron Man looking suit or whatever, but I feel like they stayed very true to where the culture came from and just improved on what they had rather than, just got rid of it and said, oh, we're all future this, that, and the other. I think a lot of movies, when they deal with different cultures and, Mexican, African, they tend to shy away from it, right? It'll be kind of downplayed. It'll be like, we're giving you this new and improved thing so you don't have to deal with that old, ratty, traditional, doesn't do much kind of, garb or weapons, or right? They were still using spears. They were still using... M'Baku had that staff with the ball at the end, right? Like it wasn't, like I said, they were just, it was on display, and they didn't shy away from it. Like I think a lot of films do when they deal with cultures, like minority cultures.
Yeah, no, I think you definitely make a good point about how they just kind of were unapologetic about letting it all hang as far as the culture goes. Um, and yeah, you have to give credit to like the folks, the showrunners, the people like Ryan Coogler, who the director, the producers, for like how much research they did on all these different cultures, and how they were able to like just take so much from different like African cultures and kind of mix it into one, and still kind of have like some creational elements and some new things, and just even down to like the score and like the sounds that were come on when certain characters came on the screen, like the Dori Maje, whenever they were on the screen, you heard the toot 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 and stuff like that. Was like just crazy, and it was, to me, it was just kind of like, yo, like this isn't like even corny or anything. It doesn't sound forced. It sounds so natural and organic.
It wasn't played for a laugh, or it wasn't played for like, oh, look at that weird thing, right? It's like it felt genuine.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely thought that they did a good job staying authentic, and like if you would have told me this movie was, if I was dumb or was uneducated, and you would have told me this movie was based on a real country, I would have believed you.
Yeah, no, it felt alive.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, I think they had to also like make it show what a civilization like that in that culture would be advanced, like way advanced, but below what level we are now. And that was also interesting to see, is to see all the little tweaks and designs and the buildings and things like that too.
Oh yeah, I think kind of unrelated, but like it made me think of a Samurai Champloo, which is an anime that mixes like traditional, yeah, right? Like they did a great job of mixing, like we touched on earlier, like staying to their culture, but like saying, hey, we can, look at all this cool shit we have and how it's integrated into our lifestyle. And like Sam said, it was nice to see a culture well beyond what is traditionally portrayed in media.
It's funny that you say that, because this is something I actually was like putting on social media the week Black Panther came out, but I got to meet Ryan Coogler a couple years ago.
Nice.
Comic-Con. I was on I got like last minute pulled into doing a Marvel press line. So I was just like there interviewing like all the different stars. Like I interviewed Benedict Cumberbatch about Doctor Strange, and
Gotcha.
Just so on and so forth. But when I talked to Ryan Coogler, we actually didn't do a long interview, because we spent like the first like 3 or 4 minutes before his interview just talking about anime, which was super strange. And it just so happens that Samurai Champloo was one of his favorites. So I thought it was funny that you dropped that one in.
Oh, yeah.
Or you kind of made that comparison, because that's actually the anime that he very much enjoyed and deems one of his favorite.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it gave me that vibe of just that perfect mixture of different things. One of the quote unquote controversies, it didn't get a lot of play, I think, in the media, but it did show up in Facebook circles or social media circles. What do you think it says about not only the people kind of perpetrating it, but also this idea that they have to? I'm sure some of y'all saw the reports of fake reports of the violence at the theaters against white people that went to go see it. I don't know if anybody else saw that on their social media.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I guess if anybody has any opinions on kind of, why, there've been plenty of movies with African American leads, not necessarily in this kind of setting of being in a position of power, right? Right. Do you think that might have played into it more? Do you think the fact that it's a superhero movie, or kind of what kind of factors you think played into that, and why people would go out of their way to kind of put out this lie, essentially, of them getting attacked?
I mean, I think it's just what the movie stands for, I mean, you don't. The thing that Black Panther that kind of differentiates it from like a lot of other movies with black leads, or a lot of other movies that are just all black, or other, all black ensembles, is the fact that this is a movie that's made in a realm or in a universe that coexists with other stars. There really hasn't been a movie, a sci-fi movie, a movie that's like focused on Afrofuturism, that's been like in the box office doing this well. This is this is a first, or with an all black ensemble. It's just never been done.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of people who don't even know what Afrofuturism is. As a matter of fact, there's actually like a genre, that is about advanced African cultures, and this movie pretty much was able to capitalize on that, but it did it under the guise of a Marvel movie, and just to have like a sci-fi movie, a superhero movie with like just an all minority ensemble, it's just never been done. I think that fact that it represented something that was different. There's always people who like to keep us as a country divided. I think that's kind of been the story with the last couple of years. Is just how do we divide this country? How do we break the unification of the people? And so people who post stuff like that are just trying to further that agenda. And what they don't understand is they're actually kind of bringing everybody together doing that, because I feel like I've been able to have dialogues about race and things of that nature with people of all of all colors because of this movie. It's opened up a dialogue and it's getting people to talk. And I think that's what's been one of the more important things, is the fact that like this everybody kind of saw Killmonger's perspective.
Yeah,
everybody did. Like, and I have like a guy on my Facebook who we used to play video games back in the day together, and he's always like kind of preaching the alt-right stuff quite a bit, which that's his perspective. I'm not the type of person to judge people because of their political opinions, but it can be a little frustrating sometimes when he comes out and he's like, oh, that black kid who got shot by the cops, that was nothing, and it was interesting to see his thoughts on the movie, because he was like, I see where Killmonger was coming from. He's like, I think it kind of opened my eyes to like what an African American feels watching that movie. For sure. And the fact that this comic book movie was the movie or the piece of information or entertainment or whatever that got that like message through to this kid's head is astounding to me. So
definitely.
I think it's just what it stands for. A lot of people who would rather see us divided would definitely have something to say about it. So
gotcha.
Very long-winded.
No, you're good. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add to that.
Nah, I think the only thing I had was.
Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead, Q.
Oh, I don't think there's a whole lot more that I can add to that. I agree. It's mostly the political climate that plays into that.
Yeah. Did anyone get any like? I was curious as this because I was asking a friend of mine whose name is Troy. He used to live here, but he moved to Germany a few years ago, and he said that the scene where it's T'Challa, it's Shuri, and Okoye going into that like underground Korean club.
Nakia.
And
Shuri
just
wasn't there.
Yeah,
but Shuri was. Oh, Nakia. I'm sorry, Nakia. So when they walk in and like they talk to the lady or whatever, and she's like, "Hey, I want to go in." She's like, "Oh, you're not going to start trouble like last time, right?" And I just thought that was interesting. And then to see how she talks to Claw, I was like, "Huh, that was
She kissed him. She didn't talk to him.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, "Huh, that was quite interesting." And he was like, "Yeah, he goes, I see that when I travel, because he does IT in Europe, and he says he sees stuff like that all the time. Like when he goes to different countries, like if you're like a different shade, you kind of you can definitely tell there's like some uncertainty if you're a certain shade in certain parts. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. That was like a really well placed undertone that they kind of put in there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think like to piggyback off what you're saying, Malik, just being Hispanic and coming from that culture, even I walked away with a lot of stuff from that movie, from Black Panther. Just this idea that you can embrace your culture but continue moving forward in society and in a lot of aspects of it. Like I said, and a lot of that, it comes down to that unapologetic approach to it.
Right. Yeah.
And I think, and I'm glad, Hollywood will never do it for altruistic reasons, right? Like it'll never be like, we're going to do this because it's the right thing to do, or not never, right? But a lot of times, a lot of it comes down to money, right? So, the fact that it's doing so well, I think, even if it's not necessarily for, hey, we should have more representation of people different people in movies, right? A lot of it's like, oh, you can make money off this. Well, we want to jump in on that. And, you know, is that necessarily the right way to go about it? No, but if it gets, like you said, if it gets a conversation started, if it gets more actors, actresses, more ideas or experiences onto the big screen for those people, like you were talking about, that might not necessarily have the best ideas or thoughts about people that are different from them, I think, you know, I'll take that any day.
Yeah. I mean, it's what you said, man. Like, it's starting a dialogue, and I think it's super important that you put people who have those backgrounds and those experiences, and who you know can communicate those nuances about those cultures into positions of leadership. And, you know, having people like Nate Moore at the producer, you know, the lead producer, and having people like Ryan Coogler there, and that was super important, because I feel like there are people who were able to communicate their own, you know, experiences. I hope we see a lot more of that happening with different cultures, and you know, in different genres. Because I mean, of course, there's movies for every culture, but they don't exactly exist in this crazy, you know, highly accessible genre of superhero movies. So I mean, like, you know, I feel like Black Panther, you know, some people will chalk this up for like a win for like Black culture or African culture or whatever, but I think this is just a win for everybody. Gotcha. Doesn't matter what color you are. This is something that, you know, not only is it getting a dialogue started, but I think it's going to open doors for you know, many more people to, you know, get their stories out there. And I'm looking forward to just all that. Like, I feel like Captain Marvel is going to be an awesome movie. I think they're going to, you know, flesh out, you know, the female experience a little more in that, you know, or maybe they won't, you know, maybe they'll do it in a way that doesn't seem too forced, because I didn't feel like any of that stuff forced on me in Black Panther.
Yeah.
So
it was. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go ahead. I was
just gonna say, as somebody who watches a lot of film, you typically see cultures of Anglo-Saxon, you know, like England and all that stuff. Like, you always see that, you always see this, but like, to actually get a refreshing change of scenery and culture and just aspects of everything, it was really refreshing from that perspective. And that's why I want to see more of that too, kind of what you're saying with different cultures.
I agree 100%.
Definitely. And one of the things I wanted to bring up that I just thought of, I did see a lot of people trying to be like, well, why does it have to be a political thing? Like, why does Black Panther have to try to push their agenda or whatever? It's interesting that they would bring that up for Black Panther, but not for, you know, not all the Marvel movies have some sort of ideology behind it, right? Like Iron Man 1 kind of touched on like providing weapons to other countries for wars and whatnot. But like,
it definitely did.
But like Winter Soldier was a really good. It was, again, one of my favorite movies. Was a really good like the dissection of politics and wars.
How corrupt the government is.
Exactly. So, you know, I think a lot of that, you know, pay attention to all the movies and what they're doing with their messages. Like, don't just think, oh, well, it's Black Panther. They're specifically trying to bring
it to the forefront because of the fact that race is in this situation, and it hasn't been in all the other Marvel films.
Yeah, it's just a very accessible topic right now.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, it's like you said, like that's why, like for me, it was kind of like Winter Soldier, kind of like at the top for me. I just feel like that movie. I mean, I make jokes about how they kind of took XXX State of the Union and reskinned it.
Fair enough.
Because, you know, the whole Samuel L. Jackson alive, thought to be dead at the beginning, but comes back later. Like, it was kind of similar in the government being corrupt and stuff. But no, it was just such a good movie. Like, there's just scenes in Winter Soldier that would never be emulated. That elevator scene was so badass.
Yeah, no, it was great.
And just like the build up to it, like just more people getting on the elevator, and he's just sitting there like, yeah, I'm about to have to fight these guys. And just the first time we heard Hail Hydra and how like crazy it was to hear that, you know, like, this is a good movie. Just a good movie. Like,
I need to go back and watch that one again.
Yeah, and like I said, that's I think, you know, people need to understand that, you know, not every one of these movies, but a lot of these movies do put that out there and you know, acknowledge and accept that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if anybody else. We're hitting about that hour mark, so I guess we'll wind down just because I don't want to keep everybody up too late. I don't know if anybody else has anything as far as things that we didn't get to talk about the movie, whether it's the movie itself or things that outside of the movie.
All about implications for the Marvel universe.
That's what I was going to say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if anybody else has really thought about it at all, but tying it into the Infinity War trailer that we've seen, like I'm like 90% certain there's an Infinity Stone in Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
I
the
think-
meteorite.
probably what's powering most of their tech.
Gotcha.
Do you guys happen to know which one it is?
I don't.
Well,
even
what are the ones we haven't seen? We haven't seen what?
It's not the time.
We haven't seen them. Have we seen the mine, or is that what Vision has? Right,
That's
Mind
what
Stone.
Vision has.
So
Is it life then?
we saw Power and Guardians. Space
Stone.
is the Tesseract. Which one is the one that Loki had in the staff, the scepter?
That was.
That's Soul.
Was that Soul?
Okay,
Or maybe we
so
haven't seen the
okay,
Soul.
so-
I know
Was it
time.
Soul or Mind?
so
Time is
So
Doctor Strange.
Space
right?
Stone was the Terrasect. It was in Thor, Captain America, the
Tesseract.
Avengers.
Right.
Tesseract, my bad. Mind Stone is obviously Vision. The Reality Stone was in the Collector's Museum. That's what I'm seeing.
Oh, right.
In Dark World.
Guardians or Dark World. Yeah,
yeah.
Dark World. That's what it is. So we haven't seen that one.
Not
like
like
in
used.
action.
No. Power Stone was Guardians, obviously. Time Stone was Doctor Strange. The only one we have not seen is the Soul Stone.
The Soul Stone.
Oh, it would be the Soul Stone that's in Wakanda. It would.
That's what we call an infinite, the James Brown Stone.
Yeah.
I'm kind of. I was wondering where Adam Warlock was. I felt like they were going to add that little teaser at the end of what was it, Guardians 2?
Yeah, Guardians 2.
Kind of gave me some Adam Warlock vibes.
Yeah,
so
it's Adam Warlock.
yeah, so
Is he? You think he's in Infinity War 1 or Part 2?
he has to be in one. He has to be. I would think he'd be in part 1.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. It's hard to say what direction they're going in. But I didn't mean to cut you off because you were talking about. Or you said there was a stone power in Wakanda. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I just think it's cool that Wakanda's gonna we get to see more Wakanda in May. Like this is not it,
Yeah.
Like a lot of people were like, oh, I can't wait till the next Black Panther. It's like, no, just a few months. We're gonna see more Wakanda. They're gonna be back there. All your characters are gonna be there. We get to see
I'm
more
gonna be
Shuri.
So disappointed if Marvel gets the rights for all the X-Men characters and they don't bring Doom into Wakanda at all.
Or
Listen, don't talk to me about that, okay? Because I'm hoping and praying to God we get Doom.
Yo, how weird would it be if the Fantastic Four somehow got integrated?
Chris
and,
Evans saw himself for Michael B. Well, Michael B. Jordan couldn't, right? But
right.
he
They
comes.
could just do like a giant Secret War thing and have all the universes mesh together, and Chris Evans and Michael B. Jordan can both play their Human Torches.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of been our running theory, Malik and Chez. Like, if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do Secret Wars.
They're
Yeah.
gonna have to do Secret War if they're.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
I agree with you guys. on that one.
Marvel said that they're not planning on introducing new movies that deal with X-Men or Fantastic Four, at least until end of 2019, possibly earliest 2020. Now they say that, but right, they snuck Spider-Man in without as quietly as they could, right? And so
Still holding out hope that the next Avengers arc is going to be Annihilation,
Oh yeah.
because that would be so badass to see Annihilus as the main villain.
I mean, yeah, they can't get many other people after Thanos. So
Yeah, I mean, how do you top Thanos? They've got Galactus now, so
well, remember I was saying during the Doctor Strange one that Dormammu, either if he doesn't play a role in Avengers, I think he'll play a big role in like some sort of Guardians crossover with Doctor Strange.
yeah.
Do you think we'll ever get to see Shuma Gorath?
I don't know. I mean,
Because that would be super sick.
it kind of depends on where they go with the Strange universe, I think.
Any thoughts on? Are we going to see anybody die in the first Avengers movie?
Hell yeah.
or at least Vision.
At least Vision. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I've already told you that like Vision's gonna die and Scarlet Witch is going to bring him back.
or her brother.
Because I think that they're going to unlock her power to have to defeat Thanos, and I think that that's going to be how they go about that.
Gotcha. Her reality warping powers.
Yeah.
I think Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, is gonna die, and
because his contract.
Well, but he turns into the Nomad in the comics, and they did. What was it, Brian? How long ago did they do the Captain America got killed arc?
The Secret Empire.
Yeah.
Is that the one where he got shot on the stairs?
Oh no, that was Civil War. That was like the original Civil War.
Was that the original Civil War?
Like a decade ago.
Okay, so yeah, man, that doesn't feel like that long ago. But yeah, I think he'll die, and I would love to see,
I want to see
Falcon take the mantle.
Shield.
Not Bucky.
Well, I want to see Bucky eventually,
I
but
want to see Bucky, but I don't want to see Bucky as Cap. I want to see Falcon as Cap.
I liked when Sam Wilson took over the mantle. I really liked that, and I think my dad was saying that the fact that Black Panther did so well, I think if the conversation wasn't there already, it's definitely there now. Right.
Well, I mean, Nate Moore, the guy who produced Black Panther, he was also the producer on Captain America Civil War, and I heard, or not Civil War, but well, he did do Civil War, but he also was a producer on Winter Soldier. And he was very instrumental in having Falcon's character put into the movie and having such like a impact in the movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows? That could be something that is being positioned.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see it because I want to see Bucky do it, but I just to see Sam Wilson's character take on the mantle, even for a little bit. Man, that'd be great.
You guys think Wakanda's going to get destroyed?
No,
I was
entirely convinced that we're not going to see a large portion of the Earth get destroyed and then get reshaped by the Infinity Stones.
Mm-hmm.
I was seeing a bunch of fan theories on just going back to the whole like what's going to happen to Bucky thing. Like, I was seeing a bunch of fan theories where they were talking about the possibility of Bucky filling in as Hunter for a little bit since he's in Wakanda. I thought that'd be pretty cool.
But I feel like that was strange because like wasn't Hunter around in the comic like before like?
Well, yeah, he was adopted by T'Chaka, but they never talked about him in Black Panther, which is why I was curious if they was possibly going to go that route and use Bucky as like Hunter for like a time. I was just curious to know, like, I think it would be interesting if Hunter gets introduced as a character, but no one really knows who it is until like the very end. You're like, oh shit, it's Bucky. That'd be pretty tight because you could.
With Ronan whenever he came back.
Yeah, exactly. That would be super sick. Because then at that point you have like a whole new character that you're introducing to the series for one, but also there's a whole bunch of like plot devices you could use with that character.
Yeah, it's really interesting whenever they use characters that are ambiguous like that in the comics too.
Yeah. Because I was always curious if Hawkeye was going to die and come back as Ronin, but I mean, we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, almost.
Maybe they'll kill Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's going to die at some point.
Yeah.
He has to.
Do you think? I think Sam Jackson's Nick Fury might die. I think they might go for the Tony Stark takes over Shield, or he's going to restart Shield and be like the person in charge of it, so that way he can still be a part of the universe, but not necessarily involved.
I feel like if they're going to do that, they should do it with Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. When's the last time we even seen Nick Fury?
Winter Soldier?
Was it
Winter Soldier, right?
Because, well, no. I guess he showed up in Ultron, didn't he? For like a minute.
Yeah, it was briefly.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So yeah, so he hasn't been around for a lot of the movies, but maybe he'll make a big entrance in Infinity War and then die. Who knows?
Maybe they'll just keep him on ice until Secret Invasion, and then he'll show up and destroy all the Skrull.
God, Secret Invasion would be so good.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see that one.
It's just so many crossovers they could do, and I'm worried that they're gonna do the crossovers they shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Like Civil War 2 would be garbage because it was the worst arc that Marvel's done in forever.
Yeah.
Oh, we all know what they're going to do, Brian.
Secret Empire?
No, they're going to take Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and make it into a movie. And then Sigma's going to be the freaking evil villain.
Mega Man
well,
crossover.
I mean, I take that back. If they do that, at least the graphics will be better.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so... yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I hate to say it, though. Man, it's been a year. I'm spoiling the ending for Marvel Infinite. I'm sorry. Freaking, I thought if anyone's seen it, so at the end,
Yeah.
yeah, it has it.
September.
Oh, you've had enough time. Anyways, freaking like the ending is super sick because Thanos finds out there's a greater power than the Infinity Gauntlet, and it's freaking Ryu's Satsui no Hado. So he makes a gauntlet and puts freaking Ryu's evil demon spirit in it and starts shooting Hadokens and like blowing up shit. Dude, if they did that in an actual movie, I'm not gonna lie, it'd be cheesy, but it'd be kind of hype.
This is FGC Chez talking right now.
Listen, I'm sorry.
Ridiculous.
That would be sick.
Chez going off the rails right now.
Hey, I'm just saying.
So are you saying they should remake Street Fighter in the MCU? I mean, it'd actually probably be decent this time if they did it.
I mean, it would make sense.
Might get a Darkstalkers movie.
I'd be down for that.
That'd be super sick.
I'd be down.
For sure.
Disney by Capcom.
Yeah, just do it, please.
Buying
Save
anything
them.
Just
else.
don't mess up Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't touch Monster Hunter, please. Jesus.
Well, no. They can improve the
as long as
can't
it's
go through a
fine, right?
can't go through a cinematic without someone finishing it first and then having to call people.
Oh,
Come
okay,
on.
yeah.
There's
There's
some
some things they can
there's some
fix,
things that
yeah.
be tweaked. But yeah, no. I mean, I guess that's pretty much wrap up about that. We hit a little over the hour mark, but that's fine. We're having fun with it. I think you guys can agree. I think this movie did a lot of good. It was really refreshing to see people embrace it and not be not ashamed, but just hesitant to express themselves, right? Whether it's from any minority culture, African, Hispanic, whatever.
Can I be ashamed of how white people are expressing themselves towards it?
You can feel however you want about that, man.
Has it been majority bad for you or?
I mean, I try to avoid social media. I'll just put it that way.
Uh-huh. Yeah, people get on there.
So I think some people will miss the point, but this is really not. It's really a movie for everybody when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Growing up in the South, that's kind of people I have in my life.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Hey, we're the Oasis, all right? Don't group us all together.
But yeah, man, I tell you what, this is the first Marvel movie in a long time. I've watched a lot of the YouTube like interviews with the cast, and they talk a lot about representation in media, and I saw a lot of interviews where they brought little kids and they were just super hype, dressed up in Black Panther gear to meet these characters, and I think it does a lot for people, man. I think this can potentially be a launching point for more expression, and when other movies come out, right? Like there's that whole thing with Ghost in the Shell and Scarlett Johansson being the lead, and for whatever reason people want to throw out. Again, like you said, I think it opens doors for more people to kind of fill in those roles for representation for peoples of different culture.
What Mexican superhero do you want to see inserted into the MCU?
Speedy Gonzalez. I'm just gonna point.
I was looking for some, man.
Dude,
I haven't found.
fucking Blue Beetle. Come on.
But he's Brian. He's not Marvel, bro.
I'm just saying superheroes, not
Oh.
specifically.
Oh.
Marvel.
What about what for Marvel though? Is there any?
I'm trying to think.
I mean, to be honest, I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm probably a fucking idiot, but I thought I'm definitely a fucking idiot. Anyways,
Don't say
no,
that.
fuck no, he was fucking Cajun.
That's what I was saying, but somebody was trying to say.
Who, Gambit?
Yeah.
I was like,
Who the fuck said?
So, all right, so this is how stupid this person I'm talking. I'm not going to even say their name, but they were saying like, well, but Gambit says "Mon ami," and I'm like, you do know that that's not Spanish. So yeah,
No, I thought Tony Stark was supposed to be like I thought that was going to be representation for like Mexican culture, because I always grew up thinking Iron Man was of Mexican Hispanic descent, and when it came out that he wasn't, I was like, all right, I guess. I just feel like that was a missed opportunity, because that would have been super sick. Don't get me wrong, Robert Downey Jr. kills that role, but
For sure.
Morales.
Just doing a quick
There
search.
you go.
Just doing a quick search. First one that comes up is White Tiger. Is apparently a character.
And that's what they called him at the end of the Bucky at the end of the movie, right?
I think so. Or White Wolf, White Tiger. I don't remember.
It was White Wolf. That's right.
Yeah, they call him White Wolf. White Wolf is Hunter.
In the Spider-Man universe, Araña is a spider-based hero. She's of Hispanic or Mexican origin. A lot of ones I don't see. The Question, El Gato Negro, Victor Mancha, Firebird, Wildcat.
I think honestly, it would just be really interesting.
What happened to the dude from X-Men? The guy with the
that's right.
The guy with the powers to fucking possess like the sun and shit. Like he could take the sun power.
Oh shit! Sunspot.
Yeah.
Okay.
That guy was pretty. Wasn't he Mexican?
Yep, he's on this list.
I remember that's what came out more recently. Miss America is America Chavez. I've seen a lot of her in the media as far as, and yeah, Sunspot was literally right after her. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, at this point, Marvel can kind of throw in whatever they want if they so choose to, right? Like they've shown that they can.
Wait, but didn't they make? Wasn't he in one of the? Oh no, that was Banshee. Okay, I'm thinking of different.
It's
those movies.
Like, DC.
No, he was in the X-Men movies before.
They really need to just get caught up with the comics and just start having all of this new generation of superheroes coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever do that really weird horror Inhumans movie?
No, it's coming out.
Oh god.
It looks terrible.
It looks like a movie that they were like, "Hey, let's slap X-Men on this just because."
Somebody was like, "Let's make a superpowered horror film." Somebody else was like, "Let's make it an X-Men film so we can make more money."
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't it a TV show? Inhumans is a TV show, isn't it?
Well, not Inhumans. New Mutants.
Yeah.
Oh, New Mutants. Yeah.
New Mutants. Yeah, that's really about all I had to say on it. I think it's on a lot of good. I'm looking forward to Avengers. Ant-Man and Wasp is going to be great. Captain Marvel is going to be great. I know.
I'm honestly not super stoked about Ant-Man and Wasp.
Oh no, man, it's going to be awesome.
Like, it doesn't look bad. It just looks like more Ant-Man.
I know.
Which isn't a bad thing, but I wanted Edgar Wright to work on the first one, and he got kicked off of it. So.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I know Chez is still waiting for that Nova movie.
Dude, Nova.
Fuck yeah, dude. Richard Rider, dog. Come on.
How can you do all of this, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Thanos, and not have Nova?
I think
Dude, if we do get a Nova movie, I hope we get a Supernova. Supernova's black. That'd be super cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. I'll end it on this, and then we can keep talking about this afterwards if y'all keep wanting to. I know all y'all looking forward to that awesome Venom movie, right?
Just shut the fuck up, dude. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. It does look kind of cool.
You guys, I appreciate you.
What's up?
Action film.
Oh yeah, no.
Tom Hardy.
No, Malik's about to peace out with that mention of the fucking Venom movie.
Malik was like, how fucking dare you bring that up in here?
Oh yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm out here.
No, you're good. Yeah, that'll be the reaction for when it comes out. But Malik, Chez, thanks for joining us. You're always welcome back here. Really enjoyed
Fuck
it.
you, dude.
Hey, you shut up, man.
Oh. Such a rude guy, man.
Go ahead and tell him why you're angry, Chez. Go ahead and tell Malik why you're angry.
Yeah.
I'm not angry, but I mean Malik knows why you brought us here.
Oh,
all right, so
all right, go ahead.
Malik.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
maybe you don't know. All right, so the reason we're on here, Malik, is because Jonathan's at this point in his podcast career where he realizes that he has a little pull, and like people are listening, and he has to keep it, what do you call it, PC. So he was like, we're talking about Black Panther. This would be the perfect time to bring on black people as guests.
Yes.
So he was like, let me pick two people that Malik and Chez. There you go. Two people who are part of the culture and they just happen to be black. I was like, all right, cool, dude.
Yeah, your first point's wrong, dude. The last video we made had like 4 views, and I think that was me, Sam, and Brian.
2 of those were mine.
Don't even get on here with that bullshit.
Hey,
No, man.
I ain't mad at it.
See,
I'm not mad.
Look at that, man. Yeah, Malik.
Because I was very hostile and I hated everyone for hating on Star Wars.
Yeah, dog. God.
Yo, people were really hard on The Last Jedi.
They really were. But All right, yeah, cool. We'll go ahead and end it with that. Appreciate you guys joining on. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. We'll catch you guys later. Thanks.
All right, peace. Thanks for having us.
Yep.